What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, listen. See this man up here? This dude's name is, or what? Well, I'm going to say was. He's still alive. Dr. Stephen Matthews. He was a cardiologist out of Denver, Colorado. Shout out Denver. Ladies and gentlemen, last week this guy was sentenced to 158 years for drugging and violating over 11 women using a dating site that he met. He met these women on dating apps. I don't know what make men do this type of stuff, but I mean, or just people, period. Prey on people that they meet online. But I mean, it's something sinister in a lot of people's thought processes in terms of them wanting to get something from you, especially from guys when they want to get something sexually from a woman. I'll never understand this, but this guy got the equivalent of damn near 2 life sentences for what he did and had the nerve to cry in court. Check this out.
We do have new details on a serial rapist who drugged nearly a dozen women, sexually assaulted many of them. A judge was reading the sentence at the top of the newscast, and we shared with you that he will spend 96 years in prison.
And that was just for the sexual assault charges. After adding in all the other charges, Matthews will spend 158 years in prison. 11 women came forward to accuse the 36-year-old after a CBS News Colorado investigation. In August, Stephen Matthews was found guilty of drugging and sexually assaulting multiple women that he met on dating apps. Your investigator, Brian Moss, joins us live outside the Denver courtroom tonight.
And Brian, so much emotion inside that courtroom today.
It was, and that emotion spilled out after the judge pronounced his sentencing. A lot of tears and a lot of hugs, of course, with the victims and their families. They seemed very happy with the sentence that the judge pronounced because 158 years in their mind is the equivalent of a life sentence, which would mean that Stephen Matthews is not going to get out of prison. So the families, the victims of Stephen Matthews between 2019 and 2023, very happy with the sentence pronounced by Judge Eric Johnson. He heard through the afternoon from 21 victims and their family members over the course of about almost a 5-hour hearing. The victims and families had asked for the maximum prison time, calling Stephen Matthews a rapist, a monster, and a sexual predator. In his statement at the end, before pronouncing sentence, Judge Johnson said that the evidence in this case is overwhelming. He was addressing Matthews directly, saying there is a room full of pain here. This is pain that you have caused your victims so much suffering. None of it was deserved. He said that you have made the world a darker place. Prior to that, the judge and all of us got to hear from a number of the victims.
I am scarred by what happened to me that afternoon. I have been in therapy for the last 18 months. Stephen Matthews took away what normal looks like for me. He took a Hippocratic oath to do no harm, and we are all here today because of the extensive harm he has done. As a well-educated, clinically trained man in his late 30s, this attacker was more than qualified to recognize all of the signs that his victims were not physically or mentally okay to consent to any sexual contact.
Now, Stephen Matthews did not speak at the sentencing today, as his lawyer said that Matthews will appeal. But Matthews' father did speak, saying his son is an alcoholic, and his family asked for a chance of rehabilitation and redemption, but they did not really get that in this sentence from the judge. Matthews is planning that appeal. He was ultimately convicted of drugging 10 women and sexually assaulting 8 of them, women that he met on dating apps between 2019 and 2023. We'll have more on the story later tonight on CBS News Colorado at 10 o'clock. That's the story from now from the Denver courthouse, though. Stephen Matthews getting 158 years in prison, sentenced just a few minutes ago here.
Brian, thank you for your reporting.
Well, this case was brought to light after a CBS News Colorado investigation that aired last year. Brian has been reporting on this story for more than a year and a half. The very first victim to come forward shared her story with Brian months before Matthews was even arrested. We spoke to her again outside the courtroom right after Matthews was convicted.
Just thank you to Brian. He talked to me before any of this had really blown up, and he believed me right away. So I'm really grateful for him and for his support. and he fought really hard to share this story. And once he did, we were able to find so many other victims because I just knew in my heart that they were there. It was very clear this was calculated and something that he had done before, even before I became aware of other victims. Like, I just had that feeling, and he did too. So I appreciate him endlessly for that.
And you can see all of Brian's reporting on this case on our website, cbscolorado.com.
Hey guys, that's the story of Dr. Douchebag Stephen Matthews. Crying in court, sitting up there, big ass schnoz. You only crying because you got caught. Nobody has sympathy in the courtroom, especially when they list all the heinous crimes you did against people that didn't deserve that. You reached out to these people on dating apps, they thought something was impressive about you, and it turned out to be false. This guy's only 36 years old, guys. Only 36 years old. Usually crazy stuff like this, you see like from somebody that's in their 50s or 60s. Honestly, an old, nasty, freaky doctor. This dude right here, drugging women with the same medications he can prescribe, because you know he can write prescriptions. All of that in an effort to steal ass. When most of the time you're on a dating site, if you play your cards right and you was as impressive as people think you are, you're going to get the ass anyway. No disrespect to any women out there, but I mean, come on. These dating sites and stuff like this where people say they're looking for love and stuff, a lot of times they be hookup sites. And I'm not discrediting the women at all. I'm not. Because, I mean, you'll meet people on there and people be genuine a lot of times when they put their cards on the table and tell you about, you know, what they want in life. And if you're good enough at talking and your profile is impressive enough, people will come to you and look for love. This guy right here violated these people, both physically and mentally, in my opinion, because he appeared to be something that he wasn't. I can't understand part where, you know, you crying no matter if they gave you, instead of 158 years, they gave you what? 1,580 years, you ain't never getting out. Your fate is sealed. What you crying for? They could have gave you death, which you do deserve, because you came as a wolf in sheep's clothing and did some old crazy stuff. All that time you went to school to learn all of this stuff, and you didn't even do anything with it. What a waste of life. Now this guy's going to be in jail, and taxpayers are going to have to be on the hook for feeding this piece of shit for the rest of his miserable life after he did something that can't be undone in the eyes of the victims that he victimized. Make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? He could have just messed with prostitutes and kept his ass out of prison. He could have. Seriously, I mean, it's always options. There are 1,001 ways to get ass out here in the world, especially when you got the money he got and the prestige that he probably had as well. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of him being a cardiologist or whatever, all he had to do was spit that out of his mouth and chicks would have probably been like, oh yeah, regardless of how crazy he looked. But I mean, sometimes the thrill of the chase is more important than finding love. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Anybody that does stuff like this, they need to be shown the flowers. Why are we even pussyfooting around with this type of stuff? These dudes are doing heinous stuff. Get them the hell out of here. For real. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.